Hi, Caroline Kearney here at Powell Arts with Maureen Bowie in front of her beautiful piece, which will be in our juried show starting on March 17th. Maureen, would you introduce us to your piece?
Sure. This piece is called Character Traits. I basically use a lot of mixed media, a lot of pattern, a lot of layering, acrylic paints with acrylic gel medium, a lot of writing, and with all that goes into it, I hope that the viewer would look deeper within the painting and maybe find, something that they can relate to, whether it's a thought or a time or a place with all the layering and pattern.
Yeah, it's very beautiful how the different textures and the way the colors overlap and meet, and you introduce the lightness and the contrast between the yellow and the blue. And there's different little patterns and things within that guide your eye around in a really beautiful way. And then you've also brought in the texture on the surface, which gives it a really tactile feel. And you feel like you're uncovering something.
Yeah, if you're like far back viewing it, it's subtle. Mm-hmm. But when you get up close, you start to find a lot of different things. You can look deeper.
Yeah, so you have a lot of areas of interest, which we were talking about this earlier, I think is really interesting because it brings you back into the piece over and over and over again. And the way that the text is obvious here, but then subtle throughout, and the different lines that mirror each other, how this and this are a reflection is great. When you approach a piece like this, what is your entry? Do you have a structure that you plan on, or you kind of go?
I don't really plan, because if I do, it's never going to work out.
Okay.
So I kind of just start laying down a lot of writing, maybe a lot of scribble to loosen up.
Okay.
Paint goes over it, so a lot goes away, and maybe part of that script grease up the background. Mm-hmm. It starts to give you something to build on.
Gotcha.
Even though a lot of that goes away. And then I just keep adding layers of either patterns or, there's paper collaged in.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful paper. You finally reach a point where you can call it done.
Yeah.
And when it flows, and I guess when it speaks to me, it's done.
I think that one of the things that's so interesting is you can recognize that you've laded paper and different media in here, but because of the way that you have united it on the surface, it makes it at once, you can tell it's collaging, and at the same time, it is a unified piece, so you have to search for the little edges, which I find really fascinating. So I think you touched on this. You said that you hope the viewer is able to approach this and reflect on their own, internal depth and dialogue. Is that your priority when you create a piece?
For the most part. It has to resonate with me as well.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I hope that they get out of it what I get out of it. So basically to look deep within, and maybe it's going to reflect something in your work.
Yeah, it'll resonate with them.
Yeah.
I have one last question, and it's because I truly love these two colors together, and then the way that this is almost silvery in its texture, or like mist. How do you decide on your palette? I'm sure that's a terrible question.
I don't know. It comes to mind. I'm very comfortable with greens and blues.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is an easy decision.
Yeah.
I don't normally go into like purples or.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of red, but
what's so interesting is artists all end up having like a favorite color for a period of time, which I always say my mom went through this period where spring green was like, and then she went through French blue, and
you kind of get to know it.
Yeah, and
it's your comfort zone.
Yeah, so we were talking about vermilion red yesterday, and I think that that's so funny that you trend towards blues and greens, almost towards yellow. I just think it's really beautiful.
Yeah, the past couple of years I've kind of been in that palette a lot. Try to change it up once in a while, and it's not always that shade of green or that shade of blue, but I don't know. It's just
You're
comfortable.
exploring those colors for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we hope that you'll come see Maureen's piece at our juried show, which starts later in March and runs through the end of May. Thank you.